In the first 10 seconds before you can even process what you are hearing, one detail freezes the blood. A baby vanished without a trace, no body, no witnesses, no confirmed grave, only a silence. So complete it feels deliberate, as if the world itself agreed to forget the child ever existed. And tonight on Dark Case Files, this true crime story is not just about a missing infant, but about how an entire system, a family, and a community failed to answer a single haunting question: where is the baby that was never found? The story begins in a quiet town where nothing ever seemed to happen. The kind of place where doors were left unlocked and neighbors recognized the sound of each other's footsteps. And in the early hours of a cold morning, a young woman named Emily Carter arrived at the local hospital alone, pale, frightened, and clearly in pain, telling nurses she had fallen down the stairs. Yet the truth was already written on her body because she had recently given birth. Something she had told no one, not her family, not her coworkers, not even the man she had been secretly seeing for months. Emily was 23, living with her parents, working part-time, and trying desperately to keep her private life hidden in a conservative environment where shame traveled faster than facts. And when doctors asked where the baby was, Emily stared at the wall for a long moment before whispering 5 words that would echo for decades: "I don't know what happened." Police were called immediately, transforming a medical mystery into a criminal investigation. And within hours, officers began searching Emily's home, her workplace, nearby woods, rivers, dumpsters, and abandoned buildings, convinced that somewhere, somehow, the body of a newborn would be discovered. Because in most true crime cases like this, there is always something physical to find. But this case would prove to be different. Emily's bedroom showed no signs of childbirth, no blood, no blankets, no towels, nothing suggesting a baby had ever been there. And investigators were baffled by the total absence of evidence, leading some to suspect that the birth happened elsewhere alone and unassisted under circumstances that could only be described as desperate. As the search widened, the town's mood shifted from concern to suspicion. Neighbors whispered theories over coffee, local media branded the case a tragedy, and online forums began to tear Emily apart, labeling her everything from a monster to a liar. Yet the most disturbing detail was this: despite an exhaustive search lasting weeks, not a single trace of the baby was ever found. No remains, no clothing, no DNA, no blood, nothing, as if the child vanished into thin air. Investigators turned their focus to Emily herself, interrogating her for hours at a time, replaying timelines, analyzing phone records, examining surveillance footage from hospitals, gas stations, and roads leading out of town. But every lead collapsed into uncertainty, and Emily's story, fragmented and confused, never fully clarified. What happened in those crucial hours after birth? She claimed she panicked, that she remembered holding the baby briefly, that it was crying, that she felt overwhelmed and afraid, and then, she said, everything went dark. A claim prosecutors would later argue was convenient, while defense attorneys insisted it was trauma-induced amnesia, a real psychological phenomenon, not uncommon in cases involving secret pregnancies and extreme stress. The investigation intensified when police identified a potential suspect beyond Emily, a man named Jason Reed, believed to be the baby's father, a coworker who denied knowing about the pregnancy, but admitted to having a relationship with Emily. And suddenly the narrative shifted from a lone, frightened mother to a possible cover-up involving more than one person. Jason's phone showed several deleted messages from the night Emily went into labor, messages that could not be recovered. And although deletion alone is not proof, in true crime investigations, it often signals guilt, or at least fear, and when confronted, Jason claimed he deleted them because he panicked, insisting he never met Emily that night and had no involvement in the baby's disappearance. Police searched his car, his apartment, his storage unit, even nearby properties he had access to. But like every other search in this case, it yielded nothing. With no body, no witnesses, and no clear crime scene, prosecutors faced an uphill battle. Yet public pressure was immense, fueled by media headlines and the unbearable idea that a newborn could simply vanish without consequence. And eventually, Emily was charged with murder. Not because evidence proved she killed her baby, but because investigators believed there was no other logical explanation. A controversial decision that would divide legal experts for years to come. During the trial, the courtroom became a stage for competing narratives. Prosecutors painted Emily as a calculated liar who hid her pregnancy and disposed of her baby to avoid shame, while the defense described a terrified young woman who experienced a traumatic birth, dissociation, and memory loss, emphasizing again and again that without a body, without proof of death, this was a case built on assumptions rather than facts. Medical experts testified about conditions like postpartum psychosis and dissociative amnesia, while forensic specialists admitted under oath that despite modern technology, they had zero physical evidence tying Emily to a homicide, and still the jury had to decide whether belief could replace proof. When the verdict came back guilty, the town exhaled in relief, believing justice had finally been served. Yet the core mystery remained untouched. The baby was still missing, unfound, unnamed, unburied, and unanswered. Emily was sentenced to decades in prison, maintaining her innocence, repeating the same words she had said from the beginning, that she did not know what happened. And as the years passed, appeals were filed, documentaries were made, and true crime communities dissected every detail, slowly shifting public opinion from certainty to doubt. Journalists uncovered procedural mistakes, including tunnel vision by investigators, ignored alternative theories, and lost evidence that, while not definitive, suggested the case may have been rushed to closure. And one theory in particular chilled even the most seasoned true crime analysts. What if the baby survived? Some speculated illegal adoption, secret arrangements, or third-party involvement, pointing to gaps in timelines and unexplained movements on cell tower data, while others proposed the possibility of a stillbirth followed by improper handling of remains, though again, no proof ever emerged. Years later, a former nurse anonymously claimed she overheard a conversation suggesting the baby was taken by someone posing as medical staff, an allegation impossible to verify but deeply unsettling. And despite renewed interest, reinvestigations failed to confirm any version of events with certainty. Today, the case of the baby that was never found remains one of the most haunting unresolved true crime stories, not because it lacks theories but because it lacks answers, forcing us to confront uncomfortable questions about justice, evidence, and the human need for resolution. Did the system imprison an innocent woman to satisfy public outrage, or did Emily Carter commit the perfect crime, leaving behind no physical trace, only a psychological and moral void? On Dark Case Files, we don't tell you what to believe, we lay out the facts, the contradictions, and the silence between them, because sometimes the darkest cases are not the ones with blood-soaked evidence, but the ones defined by absence, by what is missing, by the quiet echo of a life that may have existed only for a moment. So now the question is yours. In this true crime mystery, do you believe the baby died, was taken, or is still alive somewhere, unknown and unaware of the story that followed their birth? Tell us what you think, because your perspective is part of this investigation. And if stories like this keep you questioning the line between truth and assumption, subscribe to Dark Case Files for more dark, chilling crime stories that refuse to let the unanswered fade into silence.